Good afternoon. We are continuing with the functions today with CO48. I can identify a function given a graph or relation. So we're going to be looking at those functions, looking at the graphs, and deciding if those graphs and the function tables truly show a function or not. So we're going to know what that difference means. So a function is a relation where every x value has exactly one corresponding y value. So for every x that you see on the graph, there is only one y that can go with it. So to explain a function, one can relate it to birthdays. Can two different people, x, have a birthday on the same day? Y. Can you have a birthday buddy? Yeah. Sure. Okay, so you can have birthday buddies. It's still a function. But can the same person, x, have a birthday on two different days? No. So that would not be a function. So if you have one x that has two different y's, it's considered a function. If you have two x, or if you have one x, yes.
On February, if someone has the birthday on the 30th, they have to celebrate
the 29th. Yeah, leap day is, that's not their actual birthday though. Their actual birthday would be February 29th. They celebrate it on a different day because there's not actually a leap year every year. But that's still, their birthday is February 29th. So on their birth certificate, there's one date listed. So one person can only have one birthday. But you can have multiple X's, multiple people with the same birthday, with that same Y. So to know that it's a function, the Y is only, let me say, make sure I'm saying this right. There's only one Y value. Okay, so let's look at these graphs that we have. Two different X values can have the same Y value, but the same X value cannot have two different Y values. So does a function have to be a straight line? Why not? We've been working with straight lines. That's a function. Put it in our function table. It's a straight line. But now we're saying it doesn't have to be a straight line?
No, still two straight lines. Where the not function is more of a circle. Like, oh yeah.
So does it have to be a straight line? Could I go like that? Would that be a function?
Yeah.
It's not a straight line. Nathan said it has to be a straight line. Is there only one X for each spot on that curve? Yeah. There's still only one X, so that one Y. So there's only one X per spot. It's still a function because there's only one Y per X. Over here, where it goes like this, we have one X, but there are two Y's. Okay, so if it's going like this, whether it's straight or it's curved, there's still, for that X, there's only one Y listed. So if we're -2, if we're +2, there's only one y. But over here, if we're at -4, I can see two y's. For -2, I can see two y's. So if it's curving sideways, it can't be a function because there's multiple y's for one x. So if it's going to be a function, it can either be that straight line that we've worked with, or it could be a curve or that V shape, because every time you put in that x, there's only one y that goes with it. When it's going up and down. Sideways, there's multiple y's. Nathan.
So like if you were in the x column, if there's two of the same numbers, it would be not a function.
Correct. Because here we're saying if we're at 1, they're saying it could be 6, it could be 10, it could be -9. So for that one x, there were 3 possible y's. So it can't be a function. If there's multiple y's for the same x, it's not a function.
So basically, you can have the two same x's, but they have to have different y's.
It's not a function. So think about that x as your person. Okay, if there's one person, there's only one birthday. You can't have multiple birthdays for one person. We can have the same birthday, the same y, with a different x. Two different x's can have the same y. So if we had, I'm trying to think of how that would work.
Like you could have like 5 y's and one.
So if it's a straight line, that's -2. So if I'm at +2, I could be -2. If I'm at a -2, I could be at a -2. So if I have numerous y's that repeat, it's okay because it just means it's that straight line going across. Okay, when I was in college and I went out for one of my birthdays in college, I remember I met up with 5 different people who we all had the same birthday. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So we got to celebrate together. So I had found a lot of birthday buddies in college. So that would be a straight line. Okay, so there's multiple x's, multiple people that had the exact same birthday. But you can't have one person having 2 birthdays. That's not a function. Is that getting clearer as we're talking it through? So when we're looking at our function tables, there can only be the x listed one time. And there can be multiple y's that are the same. So an 8 can be 10 and a 9 can be 10, and it's still a function. So you can see the same number for the y column, but you can't repeat your x column unless you're going to have the same y. It has to be identical. When we're looking at not a function, we know it's not a function because we can see the same x has different y's. The same x has different y's. So we know it's not a function. So you can tell by looking at a function table, you can tell by looking at the graph. So if it's going straight across, if it's going straight up and down, if it's actually straight up and down, would that be a function if it was straight up and down?
Yeah.
Wait,
No.
no, because it has a.
It would be the same x with multiple y's. So it can't go straight up and down. It can go straight across. It can go diagonal. It can go up and down. It can go curved. but it cannot go like this, and it cannot go straight up and down. Because you can't have the same x having different y's. This is a short objective. It's just the one page. Okay, so you really need to understand if it's a function or not a function, because it's going to come and play in the next objectives. Shh. So I really need us understanding this, friends. So we need to make sure that we all understand. So you're going to be working on look at the function tables and look at the questions that they're asking. So you have to think it through. Let's look at this first one together. Which of the following are functions? Explain how you know. How do you know it's a function or not a function? So if we look at our first function table, how do we know that it's a function or not a function? What do you think, Sam?
Because there's only one of each number.
Yeah, let's start with because. Tell me what it is first. Is it a function or not a function?
The first one is a function because none of the x's are.
So this is a function. No x's repeat. That makes sense? So that's what you have to write. You have to tell me function or not a function, and why. Why do you know it's a function or not a function? For our questions, our word questions, completely answer it. So down here it says why or why not. You need to write your explanation. We need to put those explanations to make sure we're really understanding it. We need to understand the difference between if it's a function or not a function. Does anybody have any questions on the function or not a function? And I'm going to reiterate what I say all the time. Do not just write down what other people at your table are writing down. One, you might hear them wrong and get it completely wrong. But two, you're not learning it. We are going to be building off of this. So if you're not sure and your friend wrote down that something is not a function, make sure you understand it. Don't just write it down. We need to understand the difference between function and not a function, because we will build off of this. So if you don't have a good understanding today, you're going to be even more lost with the next objectives. Okay? So if you are one of my friends listening at home, we hope you are well and we hope to see you soon. Have a good day.